Exposed, the amazing truth behind my daughter's wedding after 30 years of hidden heartache. Emily Johnson stood on her porch, watching a sunset smear orange and pink across the sky, but inside, her heart felt cloudy and gray. The Quaint, Ohio suburb sparkled around her, with neighbors on bicycles and laughter ringing from backyard BBQs, a sharp contrast to the storm brewing in her chest. Tomorrow was supposed to be a joyful day. Her daughter, Lily, was getting married. Yet here she was, trapped in a whirlwind of emotions that threatened to spill over like an overfilled cup. What was so amazing about her life? Nothing felt perfect, nothing felt right. Around her throat, a tightness grew. Memories clawed at her, shadows of abandonment whispering, reminding her of the father who left and dreams that wilted. It was a secret she had held on to like an anchor, dragging her down as she poured every ounce of her being into her daughter. They were all waiting for the wedding, but were they ready for the truth? As Lily buzzed with excitement, racing around their home, trying on her wedding dress, Emily caught a glimpse of the past in those white walls. It was almost as if the house itself held memories of the nights spent crying in silence, the birthdays missed, the love unfulfilled. The sight of her daughter twirling as the sunlight glinted off the satin made Emily's chest ache, pulsating with a mix of pride and fear. Because, deep down, she knew that shadows cast long in this life her life. Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system, and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With the wedding drawing near, unfamiliar tension began to weave itself between Emily and Lily. Late-night talks turned into arguments over the color of tablecloths and seating arrangements. It wasn't merely logistics, it was an explosion of unspoken fears nestled deep within Emily's heart. The day she had spent careful years preparing her daughter for a day of joy felt like it might blur into a battlefield. The more she tried to protect Lily from her own past, the more she found her slipping away. The laughter that echoed from nearby homes continued to taunt her. 7 days before the wedding, Emily found herself sitting on a park bench surrounded by neighbors whose stories echoed the struggles she had gone through. Someone spoke of loneliness, another shared triumph over hardship. Sparks of connection flew that day for Lily, a burning desire to dig deeper into her mother's pain ignited in her heart. She watched as Emily's face tightened, defense mechanisms flaring beneath the surface, a struggle she admired but desperately wanted to understand. The sun dipped lower, painting the world in twilight. Everything changed with a single ring of the doorbell the day before the wedding, the arrival of the ghost she thought had vanished from her life forever. Her estranged father stood at the threshold, holding the shattered pieces of their past in those trembling hands. An emotional tempest surged, and Emily felt the old scars tighten. The bride's day loomed nearer, yet a darker surprise awaited her. Was this a chance for reconciliation or another chance to reject the past? With tomorrow's joy hanging by a thread, she pondered, can a heart truly heal if haunted by its history? The weight of unresolved agony pressed against her, and as night fell, uncertainty shrouded the threshold of her future. As the familiar sound of the doorbell faded, Emily felt like the ground beneath her had cracked open. Her heartbeat thundered in her ears, drowning out the night sounds of the neighborhood and numbing the laughter of the wedding party preparations just inside. Her father's presence felt foreign, like a ghost drifting back to haunt the living. She stood frozen for a heartbeat, a lump forming in her throat. Should she invite him in? Should she slam the door? The world around her blurred, and she thought about Lily. This was not the moment for old wounds to bleed into her daughter's happiness. She took a deep breath and opened the door. "Hello, Emily," he stammered, his voice thick with regret. The years had not been kind, his hair had thinned, and his once bright eyes looked faded and hollow. "What do you want?" The words tumbled out, sharper than she intended, but the flood of emotions burning inside her demanded an outlet. "I came to see you." I didn't know I didn't think he faltered. The excuses danced on his tongue but never made it past his lips. What? That tomorrow is my daughter's wedding? And you just show up like it's any other day? She thundered, her fists curling into anxious balls. He looked down, guilt etched on his face. I know I've made mistakes. I just wanted to make things right. Emily's world tilted on its axis. The girl who had infamously awaited his return was buried beneath layers of hurt, anger, and a desperate desire to protect her child from this man. Right? You think you can just waltz back in after 30 years with some vague apologies and expect forgiveness? I doubt that's what you really want, he replied softly, lifting his gaze to hers, searching for a glimmer of hope. Want? The bitterness pulled the corners of her mouth down. I want to keep my daughter safe. You have no idea what it's been like for both of us. Why no? Because I heard about the wedding. I realized I could lose you both again. His admission hung between them like a tightrope stretched to its breaking point. On one side lay the bitter past, full of pain and disillusionment. On the other loomed the possibility of future with an unfamiliar peace set against the day that should have been full of joy. Footsteps interrupted the charged air as Lily emerged from the kitchen. Her wedding dress shimmered, bright against the coolness of the evening. Mom? Who is at the door? Emily felt her heart drop. Lily was supposed to be excited, to revel in the last moments of her single life. Instead, reality was bleeding and churning, and Emily knew that all of this could shatter in an instant. This is Emily stuttered, glancing back at her father, everything about him calling back the long-silenced anger within her. Could she stand by and allow her daughter to meet the very person who had contributed to decades of suffering? Is that Grandpa? Lily's voice brightened, innocence radiating from her. Oh, I've never met you. Mom talks about you sometimes. Every word struck Emily like a fist. Her resolve cracked further, revealing the scars that barely healed. Lily, wait! The clamor of anticipation shifted and twisted within Emily. She could feel her daughter's joy intertwining with her fears, and she was caught in a storm of choice. Just then, the doorbell rang again, startling them. Mom, is everything okay? Lily asked, looking between the two adults, her unease growing. The world outside seemed still. Emily's breath caught. She was on the precipice of a decision with the power to change everything for Lily. But just how much would the truth weigh? The fresh ring of the doorbell echoed ominously above the tension as Emily's heart raced, fearing what might come next. Emily's heart thumped wildly, drowning out the clamor of the wedding preparations inside. She could feel the weight of her father's eyes, pleading yet terribly empty, as he stood frozen the threshold. The doorbell rang again, slicing through the silence with a shrill urgency, forcing her to confront a past she had meticulously buried. Mom? Lily's voice trembled, the brightness fading from her expression. Is that really Grandpa? The air thickened, and Emily felt as if time itself had come to a screeching halt. Could she allow this man into the life they had painstakingly built? Memories of her childhood unraveled in her mind, those hollow promises, the whispers of abandonment, each one like a jagged shard. I need you to go, Emily finally managed to say, her voice strained but resolute. But just as those words were whispered, a crashing sound erupted from the kitchen, followed by a swift sprint of footfalls. Hold on, Lily interjected, her eyes dancing back and forth between Emily and the man who had been more ghost than father for so long. But it's my wedding. I want to know him. You don't know him. The words escaped before Emily could prevent them, sharp and raw. It felt as though someone had struck her. This was not how it should be. Mom, Lily stepped forward, a soft plea. Her wedding dress swirled like a specter around her as she tilted her head, searching for understanding, seeking that connection. Emily's mind raced, but the doorbell chimed again, relentless. She shot her father a cautious glance before taking a deep, steadying breath. One moment, she hissed, then turned back to Lily, desperation flooding her veins. Listen, this is complicated. He hurt me more than you can imagine. He has no right to just walk in and play the doting grandpa. You deserve more than that. But that is not fair, Lily protested, hurt flashing across her face. I just want to know who he is. I'm getting married tomorrow. What if he has been trying to make things right? Emily felt her control slipping. Please mingled with the pain buried deep within, battling for dominance. Was Lily really old enough to grasp the depth of betrayal here? And what damage would it cause if she let the past seep back into their lives? Watching her daughter's face contort with confusion twisted a knife in her heart. Lily. She finally snapped, causing Lily to recoil. I don't want you to get hurt. Then, a new voice rang through the doorway, laced with authority as a figure stepped into the light. Emily. Is everything all right? It was Mark, nearby neighbor and a constant support through thick and thin. He was dressed sharply, as if he had come straight from the wedding party, and his presence felt like a comforting shield. Mark. Just a minute, she called, panicked waves washing over her. Her father moved slightly, desperation creeping into his eyes as he sensed the rising tension. I want to let this ruin tomorrow, Emily muttered under her breath. She had to decide. Yes, and Lily's happiness hung in the balance. Mom. Lily's voice cut through again, this time adorned with determination. You have to give him a chance, or you'll never know. But as the door swung further open, revealing Mark's surprised expression, an uneasy silence settled over them like a thick fog. Maybe this reunion wouldn't go as planned. Would it bring healing or ignite a long-buried storm? A rush of footsteps echoed outside, the clamor of wedding guests drawing near. The moment of truth was almost upon them. Let's just answer the door, Mark said cautiously, sensing the upheaval. And just like that, a new wave of uncertainty crashed into Emily's mind. Would opening the door lead to new beginnings or an even deeper abyss? Whatever loomed beyond the threshold felt bigger than all of them. As the handle turned, she wondered what shadows might emerge, and if this really was the moment everything shifted or shattered. The door creaked open, the hinges groaning as though they too felt the weight of past betrayals. Emily's breath caught in her throat. Standing there, with a disheveled appearance and eyes wide with pent-up emotions, was her father. The air felt electrically charged, thick with unspoken words and decades of hurt. His voice was barely a whisper, choked with emotion. I thought I needed to see you. Didn't he think what? Emily snapped, bracing herself as if preparing for an approaching storm. That you'd actually have to confront your own mistakes? Lily stepped slightly away from Emily, determined yet terrified, her wedding gown shimmering halo-like in the afternoon light. Why are you really here? She asked, her tone wavering. Is it to apologize or to just make this worse? Emily couldn't help but notice the way her father winced at the question. It's complicated, Lily. He took a shaky breath, glancing between the two women standing before him. Mark stood off to the side, his presence grounding, but unsure. He shifted his weight, glancing at Emily with concern. He opened his mouth, as if to intervene, but Emily held up her hand, needing this moment to unfold without interruption. Waves of anger and sadness cascaded through her. Don't come in here acting like you care. You didn't even have the decency to be there when it mattered. You walked away. Emily's voice rose, sharp and echoing in the charged atmosphere. I know I messed up, her father said, his voice trembling. He seemed smaller somehow, as if the years of guilt had worn him down. I wish I could take it back, but you can't, she interjected, the bitterness clawing at her throat. You think I'm sorry can fix this? What gives you the right to show up now on Lily's wedding day? Mom, Lily said softly, fear creeping into her voice. She was caught in the crossfire of their fury, and Emily hated that she had dragged her daughter into this mess. But guilt twisted at her insides. Did Lily really want to know the man who had caused her mother so much pain? Before Emily could respond, a commotion erupted outside, laughter mixed with loud chatter as wedding guests spilled onto the front lawn. Suddenly, the house felt too small, too suffocating. This isn't the time, Dad, Emily said, forcing calm into her tone, but her heart pounded like a drum. You need to leave. No, wait. Lily's plea hung in the air like a fragile thread. Please, let him stay a moment. Just a moment, for me. Emily faced her daughter, fear and love warring within her. You don't know what you're asking for. This man, I know what I'm feeling. Lily's voice was steady now, but underlined with a desperation Emily had never wanted to cultivate. Tomorrow is the biggest day of my life, and I want to understand my family. Please, Mom. Just hear him out as Emily weighed the ramifications of her daughter's request. An emotionless silence stretched. Then Lily's father spoke again, his voice steadying. I'm not here to ruin anything. I just want to explain. You can't build a future without understanding the past. What could you possibly say to make amends? Emily felt the walls around her heart beginning to crack, a rush of emotions surfacing. He paused, taking a deep breath. I want to tell you both the truth. There is something you don't know. Something that changes everything. The air crackled as disbelief settled over them, and Emily's hands trembled. What do you mean, changes everything? She spat out, not prepared for more revelations, not now. I found out recently about the circumstances surrounding my leaving. It wasn't what you think. It was never meant to be that way. Emily's heart raced. Could there be more? Was there a shadow lingering behind his words that could pose a new threat or shift her understanding entirely? Enough, Dad. She shouted in frustration, each word punctuated by the flux of voices building again from the lawn. And yet, as she turned away in denial, holding on to her rage, she felt the seeds of doubt creep in. What if the truth was something she could never fathom? But before she could cement her resolve, the sounds from outside escalated into a raucous cheer, drawing her attention away. What had she just unleashed? And what truth was her father holding back, waiting for the right moment to upend their lives? Behind her, the tension rippled as her father's silence loomed larger, and Emily braced herself for the storm that was already gathering speed. Would they be ready for what came next? The room felt like it was closing in, the heavy air mixing with the jubilant sounds echoing from outside. Emily's chest tightened, her heart racing as her father's gaze bore into her. It was a pleading look, layered with regret and confusion. For a moment, time slowed, but the world outside continued to murmur and laugh, blissfully oblivious to the turmoil inside. Emily, please, he said, desperation lacing each word. You have to understand. I understand what? She glared, every beat of her heart an accusation. That you've left a wreck of emotions in your wake? That you think those words can somehow fix decades of hurt? You think this is easy for me? For Lily? Just listen. He insisted, and suddenly the anger in his voice snapped. It sent a shiver down Emily's spine. I'm not the only one who needs to be held accountable here. Emily's mind raced. What was he implying? The tension throbbed between them like a live wire, and she could feel Lily's watchful eyes glued to the unfolding drama. Dad, what are you talking about? Lily asked, the innocence in her voice like a beacon in the storm. His eyes darted to Lily, filled with a raw urgency. The reason I left wasn't just about me wanting to escape. There were circumstances. He hesitated, as if searching for a way to soften the blow. Things you both deserve to know. Secrets your mother kept. Emily's gut twisted in disbelief. Secrets? You mean lies, right? What could a supposed truth do now except hurt us more? His shoulders slumped, and he shook his head, struggling to maintain composure. I swear, Emily, this isn't about blame. It's about clarity. You don't see the full picture. Lily stepped forward, clutching her wedding gown nervously. Mom, maybe we should listen. If there are secrets, if there's more to the story now. Emily shot back, frustration spilling over. Lily, this is not your burden to carry. This is between me and him. You shouldn't even be involved. But Lily, determined and relentless, answered, I am involved. This is my family too. You want to shield me from the reality, but how can I be whole if I don't know the truth? Her words hung in the air like a palpable force, and Emily felt the walls around her heart crumbling further. Anger turned to confusion, and she wrestled with the possibility that maybe there was something hidden beneath years of pain that she had never considered. Just tell us what it is, Lily urged, her voice now trembling with anticipation. Why did you really leave? Her father hesitated, taking a deep breath, his hands now shaking as fragments of lost time flickered in his eyes. There was someone else. Someone close, someone I never wanted you to know about. The air shattered like glass, sharp and jarring. Emily's breath caught again. What? No. You can't be serious. Emily, stop. Stop right there. Her heart hammered violently as a wave of nausea hit her. You're telling me after all these years, you left because of another woman? How could you? I didn't choose her over you. It was complicated. I didn't have control outside. Laughter suddenly turned into a raucous cheer, an ironic backdrop to the family turmoil brewing within. Shut it all out. This isn't about your excuses. Emily shouted, her voice echoing in the confined space. Memories flooded back, reminders of a childhood marked by absence and shadows. But behind her, Lily's expression shifted, confusion and fear flickering in her wide eyes. You mean I have another family out there? Her father recoiled as if struck. No, not family. Just a past I buried. The world outside blurred into insignificance. Emily's heart raced on the brink of a revelation that could dismantle everything she thought she knew. Anger gave way to disbelief and an insatiable curiosity about what other truths lay in the shadows of their past. Lily, with tears glimmering in her eyes, whispered, "What else don't I know, Dad?" And as quiet enveloped them, the question haunted the air, promising that the storm was far from over. Would they be ready to face the reality of family and the truths that could change everything? The silence in the room clung to them like fog, thick and suffocating. Each heartbeat felt like a drum, pounding the weight of their father's confession into their bones. Emily struggled to breathe, her thoughts racing as her father's gaze sank into the cracks of the floor. "Dad," she whispered, almost pleading for him to take it back, to deny the existence of some phantom woman. But his eyes were clouded with memories he hadn't shared, popping bubbles of what she believed to be fact. "Please, just tell us the truth." Lily turned slowly, her face pale, as if the walls closed in tighter around her fragile understanding of family. "How could you keep this from us? What else is there, really?" Their father let out a shaky breath, the sound filled with regret. "It was a dark time, your mother and I." He paused, the frantic flicker of guilt surfacing in his expression as he recalled the distant echoes of his life. "It wasn't just about me. It was about the choices I thought were right at the moment. Choices I thought would protect us?" Emily snapped, fire igniting in her chest again. "By abandoning us? By running away to another life?" The tension snapped like a taut string, and their father flinched at her words. "You don't understand. I thought I was doing the right thing. If you only knew the hell I lived through what your mother enough." Emily cut him off, her voice trembling with fury. "Don't you dare drag Mom into this. She made her choices. You can't blame her for your mistakes." "You think I'm blaming her?" His voice rose, cutting through the haze of shouting. "You have no idea. If she had just told me the truth about everything, maybe I would have stayed. Maybe things could have been different." Emily felt a knot tighten in her throat, the onslaught of emotions overwhelming her. "Different how? Different in a way that keeps you away from us, coy and secrecy?" Lily squeezed her hands tighter around her wedding gown. Can we just start over?" Her voice barely whispered above the storm of accusations. "Dad, is there anyone else out there? Is there something you haven't told us about her? About this life you thought necessary to hide?" The weight of her words was heavy, like a brick in Emily's heart. She met her father's gaze, desperation poured from him, and wrapped around the room. "There's more, isn't there?" Lily's eyes were wide, a glimmer of fear mixed with intense curiosity. "Is this other person, does she have a family? Children?" "No." Their father's voice shattered their expectations. "It's not like that. We didn't have kids." But the denial spilled out too easily, and Emily could sense the hesitation dancing in his voice. Yet the question lingered in the air like a ghost they couldn't shake. What lay on the other side of the truth? Emily's mind spun, racing through memories for any hint of another woman, another world. The laughter from outside faded into the background, a distant echo of a life that now felt lost to her. "What happens now, Dad?" Emily asked, her voice softening, unsure of where this would lead. "I'll tell you everything. I promise," he said, sincerity flooding his tone. "But we need to sit down away from all of this chaos. We need to confront the past together. Only then can we start to unravel why all of this happened." A shiver ran through Emily as they all entered an uncertain agreement. Would the revelations bring clarity or only more pain? She felt the ground shift beneath her feet. Outside, the laughter erupted once more, a cruel reminder of the normalcy they seemed at odds with. Emily took a deep breath and steeled herself for what lay ahead. The truth loomed like a storm cloud, heavy and dark, waiting to break. And as they prepared to unravel the past, one question burned in her mind. Could the truth heal their scars or deepen the wounds that were already festering? The air felt electric as they moved to the living room, a place filled with sunny memories that now felt tainted by shadows. Each step was heavy, as if they carried the weight of generations, secrets stored within the walls. Emily glanced at Lily, who was trying to summon her strength, or at least a semblance of hope. As they settled onto the worn sofa, their father rubbed his palms together, the movement betraying his nervousness. "This isn't easy for me," he began, his voice a hesitant tremor like leaves rustling in a storm. "But you deserve to know everything, especially now." Emily felt her heart pound violently, unsure if it was fear or anticipation. "Why now?" she asked, her voice low but sharp. "Why tell us after all this time?" "Because," he swallowed hard, his throat visibly constricting. "Because you're about to start your own lives, and you deserve the truth, even if it shatters what you believe." With that, he leaned back, grappling with memories long buried. "Your mother, she was unhappy. We lived in constant conflict, like caged animals. I thought she'd be better off if I disappeared for a while, to find my way." Lily shook her head, barely able to fathom the weight of his words. "You think abandoning us could ever be right? You should have fought for Mom, for us." His gaze fell, and the silence felt like an unseen barrier rising between them. "I thought I was sparing you too the pain of our fights. I didn't realize the wounds I'd create by leaving." "Wounds?" Emily's words cut like glass, sharp and unnerving. "Do you even grasp what you've done? You tore apart our family. What about this other woman? Was she your excuse?" "No." His eyes flared wide, and in that moment, something raw sparked behind them. "I never intended for any of this. She was just complicated." The word hung in the air, grotesque and vague. "Complicated how? You can't just act like we're voyeurs in your life, Dad." Emily's breath came in quick bursts, desperation squeezing her chest. "She was someone I thought I could trust." It made the pain of leaving feel lighter. "But I was wrong," he admitted, and frustration seeped into his voice. "Her existence complicates things, yes, but then tell us the truth." Lily's voice broke the tension, pleading for answers. "What does she mean to you? Who is she?" With a resigned sigh, their father reached for a faded photo album tucked into the side table. The cover, cracked and fragile, spoke volumes of memories preserved. This is where the truth lies," he said, opening it as though unleashing a force long restrained. The pages unveiled snapshot strangers captured in stolen moments, revealing a woman with bright eyes and a smile that tore at Emily's heart. A mix of anger and pain surged through her as she pointed to the unfamiliar face. "Is this her? The woman you ran away with?" "No. That's just the beginning," he stammered, his voice faltering. "It's not what you think, I swear." "Then what is it?" Emily pressed, each syllable coated in anguish. He looked at them directly, a torrent of vulnerability spilling forth. "If I tell you everything, it'll unearth more than just the past. It could change everything you thought you knew about our family and each of us." A chill crept through the room, wrapping around them like the darkest night. Emily's instincts screamed for clarity, but dread pooled in her stomach. Could they truly handle the truth when it felt like their very foundation was built on lies? Just as he opened his mouth to speak again, the doorbell cut through the tension, a sudden intrusion that splintered their fragile moment. Emily's heart raced. Who on earth could that be? The surprise and dread fused, an unwelcoming reminder that they were still here, still facing whatever storm lurked ahead. More secrets? More revelations? "Stay here," their father ordered abruptly as he stood, the moment stretching into a tightrope walk of unknowing. As he moved toward the door, Emily held her breath. Was the past finally breaking through? And if so, how would it all collide with their reality? The door creaked open, and shadows filled the entryway, thickening the air with uncertainty. And then an unexpected face appeared, grinning in a way that sent an icy shiver down Emily's spine. The sudden light from the doorway illuminated the figure standing there, someone Emily never thought she would see again. The grin was all too familiar, yet foreign. It twisted her stomach into knots. Surprise! The voice that called out shifted the temperature in the room, a jarring contrast to the charged silence. It was Rachel, her father's ex-best friend, someone who vanished from their lives years ago, only to reappear like a specter from the past. "What are you doing here?" Emily's voice quivered, caught between shock and disbelief. Lily shifted beside her, eyes narrowing. "Why now? After everything?" Their father, standing like a statue, seemed rooted to the ground. "Rachel, I didn't expect you," he muttered, a hint of unease creeping into his tone. "I could tell," she said, stepping into the dim light of the living room without hesitation. "But I have something important to say. Something that can't wait." Emily's pulse quickened, each beat drumming in her ears. What could she possibly have to say that would add to the chaos they were already engulfed in? An uneasy chill washed over them. "Isn't this the perfect time?" Rachel turned to the photo album laying open on the coffee table. "I see you've already begun your family therapy session." Classic. There was a sneer laced in her voice, sharp enough to cut glass. "Enough," their father said, raising a hand, desperation flickering in his eyes. "You have no right to come here, and actually, I do," Rachel interrupted, her voice unwavering. "I'm the only one who can turn your family's world upside down. You need to hear this." Seizing a moment of clarity, Emily stood, anger igniting her usually calm demeanor. "What could you possibly know that we don't?" Rachel stepped forward, her expression softening slightly, but her eyes still glinting with mischief. "More than you think." "More than he thinks? What do you mean?" Lily asked, the tension in her voice palpable as she grasped Emily's hand for support. "Your father is hiding more than just that woman's smile in those photos," Rachel said, pointing at the album. "He's been drowning in secrets, and I have the lifeline." The room felt almost suffocating as Emily and Lily exchanged glances, sharing a tight-lipped agreement that whatever was coming next had to be heard. Their father looked angered, fear shadowing his features. "You don't know what you're talking about. You need to leave, Rachel." "Why? Because you're terrified of the truth?" Rachel took a breath, searching their faces for something. "You think knowing everything will shatter them, but what if it could set everyone free?" Emily's heart raced, caught in a whirlwind of confusion and anger. "Get to the point." "I know your mother," Rachel said finally, the air growing dense around them. "And I know why she was unhappy. It wasn't just him leaving. It was much deeper, something buried, something no one wants to confront." "What are you saying?" Lily demanded, her voice shaking. "What happened to Mom?" The question hung there, thick like fog, blurring the line between past and present. Rachel inhaled deeply, her intensity rising. "The answers to all your questions lie with her, in her own words. You need to see what she kept hidden because it affects everything, the reasons for your father leaving, the other woman, even the things that shaped you both." Panic coursed through Emily. "What do you mean? Where's Mom? What do you know?" Rachel paused, casting a glance back toward the door as if gauging whether to proceed or retreat into the shadows. "She left behind something that can't stay in the dark much longer. It's not what you think. You need to hear it. You'll understand everything if you're ready to face it." Just as Emily's world seemed to spiral tighter, their father's voice rang out, desperate and forceful. "You're out of line, Rachel. Enough." The door swung shut behind Rachel, trapping them once more in the looming weight of her words. As the walls felt like they were closing in, Emily's mind raced with possibilities, each darker than the last. Could they really handle what lay ahead? Or would knowing the truth shatter them entirely? The atmosphere ignited with tension as their father stood, focusing on Rachel. "You need to leave before this escalates," he warned tightly. Rachel smirked, stepping back, the drama in her stance revealing something deeper. "But the truth is already here. The real story is only just beginning," and as her chilling words faded, the shadows deepened, leaving everyone questioning what would emerge from the depths of their tangled past. The echo of Rachel's exit dissolved into silence, leaving a weight in the air so thick that each breath felt like a struggle. Emily's heart hammered in her chest, adrenaline coursing through her veins. She glanced at Lily, whose wide eyes mirrored the confusion swirling in her own mind. What's happening? What did she mean about Mom? Lily's voice trembled, barely above a whisper, as if speaking louder might shatter the tenuous grip they all had on sanity. Their father raked a hand through his hair, the movement betraying his panic. We don't know what Rachel is talking about. She's always been dramatic. This is just her way of screwing with our heads. Is it? Emily shot back, her frustration rising. She just insinuated that Mom had secrets. How can you brush that off like it doesn't matter? The truth needs to come out, doesn't it? Your mother, he hesitated, his gaze darting away from them, haunted by memories he was reluctant to share. She was a good woman. I really don't want to drag her name through the mud right now. Then what are we supposed to do? Lily interjected, shaking her head. Just ignore everything she said? Pretend we didn't hear it? Emily felt a knot tighten in her stomach. The idea of leaving things unexplored twisted like a dagger within her. We can't just sit here. Sit, please, he implored, voice steeped in weariness. Let us assume Rachel is lying and think about how to move on. We have each other. That's what matters. Do you hear yourself? Emily snapped, frustration boiling over. It's too late to pretend we're fine. She kicked the door wide open. Now we have to decide if we're brave enough to step through. The silence that fell upon them was deafening, punctuated only by the ticking of the clock on the wall, each tick a reminder of time slipping away. What if there's a reason you left? Lily accused gently, her tone barely masking the fear of the truth. What if you needed to escape Mom's secrets too? Their father's clenched jaw tightened visibly, his entire demeanor shifting as if a light had been dimmed in his eyes. No, it wasn't like that, he murmured, a blend of defensiveness and anguish tainting his words. Emily surged forward, breaking the spell of inaction. Where did she go? What happened that made you leave her behind? He faltered, the weight of years pressing down like an unrelenting storm. It was complicated. Complicated? Lily spat back. Complicated doesn't cut it. You owe us more than that. We deserve to know the truth. Just then, a sudden loud crash erupted from the kitchen, breaking the tension that had become a suffocating shroud. They all jumped, hearts racing as they exchanged startled glances. What was that? Emily whispered, her pulse quickening again, other startling possibilities crowding her mind. I'll check. Their father's voice was abruptly firm, masking the unease that lingered below the surface. He moved toward the kitchen, leaving Emily and Lily to stare at one another, uncertainty dancing in their glances. Emily could feel it all unraveling, Rachel's hidden claims, the chaotic emotions surrounding their family, the lingering shadows of the past. She felt as if she were standing on the edge of a cliff, staring into an abyss that promised both answers and horror. Stay here, their father commanded as he disappeared into the shadows of the doorway. What if it's something worse? Lily's voice dropped, panic flashing in her eyes. Before Emily could respond, she heard a thud followed by their father's hoarse yell. Get back! Heart racing, Emily charged toward the kitchen, adrenaline spiking. What was unfolding behind that door? Could it drag them deeper into their family's secrets, or was a greater danger looming just out of reach? As she crossed the threshold, the chilling realization hit her: some doors once opened could never be closed again. What waited in the kitchen was only the tip of the iceberg, and as the sound of muffled shouting pierced the air, she felt the ground shift beneath her. There was no turning back now. What had Rachel unleashed? Emily rushed into the kitchen. Her heart raced, the air thick with impending revelations. The room was a whirlwind of memories and chaos, yet eerily quiet save for a soft whimper. Dad? Emily's voice trembled, scanning the space blurred with emotion. She spotted her father on the floor, crumpled and pale, a box by his side. A deep breath caught in her chest as she knelt beside him. What happened? Are you okay? He looked up, eyes glassy and distant. I just wanted to gather my old things. He gestured weakly to the box, a collection of letters and photos, scattered like pieces of a jumbled puzzle. Emily picked one up, the scent of aged paper filling her nostrils. It was a photograph of her mother with a smile so radiant it hurt to remember. "Why didn't you ever tell us?" The words spilled out, fierce and raw. "About the pain? The struggles? The secrets?" "Emily, it wasn't meant to hurt you," her father whispered, frail yet steadfast, as if trying to gather the strength of a lifetime. "I thought I was protecting you both." "Protecting us?" Lily's voice broke through the haze of their bitter confrontation, stepping into the kitchen. "By disappearing? By leaving us to pick up the pieces? You don't understand." The tremor in his voice was palpable, like a tightrope ready to snap. "Your mother was drowning, and I thought if I left, she could breathe, be happier without me." Emily's chest constricted. "But is that true? Was she happy without you?" Her words felt like knives dug deep into the wounds they learned to live with, but as the tremors of the past crackled anew, she felt the flicker of truth nudging them closer together. "No, she struggled. But every family has secrets." His hands shook as he held one of the letters like a talisman. "Even yours now. When I saw Rachel self-destructing, I was afraid you'd end up like us." "Like you?" Emily flashed, the heat of anger igniting again. "Mom and I worked through our struggles. But you ran away. You can't just throw that back at us like it was our fault." Before any response could arise, the sudden echo of the doorbell sliced through the tension flooding the room. Emily shot her father a piercing glance. "Who could that be?" Lily asked, anxiety twisting her features. "I don't know, but stay here," their father insisted, pushing himself off the floor. Something shifted inside Emily. "No, wait." She reached out, desperate. "You can't keep running away. You need to face this. We need the truth, Dad, now." But he ignored her, moving towards the door, his back turned to the secrets trembling on the edge of their turbulent history. Emily's heart raced. "Lily, this could be it. Whatever he's hiding, we have to ask now." They moved closer to the doorway, straining to hear what was unfolding. Finally, the door creaked open, spilling an unexpected light into the room through the crack. A figure appeared whose presence felt like a final piece of a puzzle. It was Rachel. "Emily, Lily, there's something I need to speak about. We don't have time to waste." "Are you kidding me? You just stroll in here? After everything?" Emily snapped, her heart raging. "What could you possibly need to say?" "I can tell you why your father had to leave," Rachel said, pressing her lips together as if bracing herself for a storm. The air grew electric with tension. "You think you can just waltz in and share truths?" Lily's voice trembled, a war between anger and desperation. "We don't have much time. Your father deserves this chance to finish what he started." Rachel's words hung in the air, dense with buried emotions. Everyone had their battles and their burdens. "Why do you care now?" Emily responded fiercely, unintentionally stepping protectively in front of Lily. "Because, Emily, because if I don't tell you, the chaos continues." Rachel's eyes, usually sharp, softened, a glimmer of resolve breaking through. "I know deep down inside that understanding your family's heartache could save it or help heal the wounds that might be too raw to confront." Emily felt confusion battling with a flicker of hope. But could Rachel truly help them? They needed clarity, not more entanglements, not more pain. She turned to her father. "Will you finally admit how all of this transforms who we've become?" "Maybe it's time," he whispered, exhaustion mixing with something softer, more vulnerable. The air grew charged with anticipation as Emily took a deep breath. "Could we confront everything? This is our last chance. It's time to unravel the knots once and for all." With that acknowledgement awakening hope in her heart, they all took a step forward towards Rachel, towards the truth. The universe felt like it was shifting, the weight of all they had lost hanging in the balance. Whatever came next, they would face it together, all of them tethered by a history too powerful to break. And in that moment, Emily realized something vital. It was never just about pain or secrets. It was about love, rebuilding, and a chance to finally hear each other's truths. "Let us hear it," she said, feeling warmth blooming in her chest, a flicker of possibility igniting within the shadows. And as they began to unravel the threads of their heart's secrets, Emily knew that this could transform everything, making space for healing. "All right, Now is the moment you need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive journeys into family secrets and truths that could change everything. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm, keeping the stories alive. Flood the comments section with your reactions, your theories about the ending, and your experiences with family. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this powerful conclusion. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.